And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Take Aaron and his sons with him, and the garments and the anointing oil, and the sin offering bull, and the 2 rams and the basket of unleavened bread, and assemble the entire community at the entrance of the tent of meeting. And Moses did as the Lord had commanded him, and the community assembled at the entrance of the tent of meeting. Moses said to the community, This is the thing the Lord has commanded to do. Moses brought Aaron and his sons forward and bathed them in water. And he placed a tunic upon him. Aaron girded him with the sash, clothed him with the robe, placed the ephod upon him, girded him with the band of the ephod, and adorned him with it. And he placed the choshen upon him, and he inserted into the choshen the Urim and the Thummim. And he placed the cap on Aaron's head, and he placed on the cap toward his face the golden show plate, the holy crown, as the Lord had commanded Moses. Moses took the anointing oil and anointed the sanctuary and everything in it, and sanctified them. And he sprinkled from it upon the altar 7 times, and he anointed the altar and all its vessels, and the wash band and its base, to sanctify them. And he poured some of the anointing oil upon Aaron's head, and he anointed him to sanctify him. Moses brought Aaron's sons forward and clothed them with tunics, girded them with sashes, and bound them up with high hats, as the Lord had commanded Moses. And he brought the sin offering bull close, and Aaron and his sons leaned their hands forcefully upon the head of the sin offering bull. And he slaughtered it. And Moses took the blood and placed it on the horns of the altar around with his finger, and he purified the altar. And he poured the blood at the base of the altar and sanctified the altar, to effect atonement upon it. And he took all the fat which was on the innards, and the diaphragm with the liver, and the 2 kidneys together with their fat, and Moses caused him to go up in smoke on the altar. And he built its hide, its flesh, and its waist. And the bull, its hide, its flesh, and its waist, he burned with fire outside the camp, as the Lord had commanded Moses. And he brought near the burnt offering ram, and Aaron and his sons leaned their hands forcefully upon the head of the ram. And he slaughtered it, and Moses dashed the blood on the altar around. And he cut up the ram into its pieces, and Moses made the head, the pieces, and the fat go up in smoke. But the innards and the legs he washed in water, and Moses made the entire ram go up in smoke on the altar. It was a burnt offering with a pleasing fragrance, a fire offering to the Lord, as the Lord had commanded Moses. And he brought near the second ram, the ram of the investitures, and Aaron and his sons leaned their hands forcefully upon the ram's head. And he slaughtered it, and Moses took some of its blood and placed it on the cartilage of Aaron's right ear, on the thumb of his right hand, and on the big toe of his right foot. And he brought Aaron's sons forward, and Moses placed some of the blood on the cartilage of the right ears, on the thumbs of the right hands, and on the big toes of the right feet. And Moses dashed the blood on the altar around. And he took the fat, the tail, all the fat which was on the innards, the diaphragm of the liver, the 2 kidneys together with their fat, and the right thigh. Out of the basket of unleavened bread that was before the Lord, he took 1 loaf of unleavened bread, and 1 loaf of oily bread, and 1 wafer, and he placed them on top of the fats and the right thigh. And then he placed it all on Aaron's palm and on his son's palms, and he waved them as a waving before the Lord. And Moses took them from their hands and made them go up in smoke on the altar along with the burnt offering. They were investiture offerings as a pleasing fragrance, a fire offering to the Lord. And Moses took the breast and waved it as a waving before the Lord. It belonged to Moses as a portion from the ram of the investitures, as the Lord had commanded Moses. Moses took some of the anointing oil and some of the blood that was on the altar, and he sprinkled it on Aaron and on his garments and on his sons and on his sons' garments, and he sanctified Aaron his garments, his sons and his sons' garments with him. And Moses said to Aaron and to his sons, "Cook the flesh at the entrance of the tent of meeting, and eat it there in the bread that is in the basket of the investiture offering, as I have commanded, saying, Aaron and his sons shall eat it. And whatever is left over from the flesh and the bread you shall burn in fire. You shall not leave the entrance of the tent of meeting for 7 days, till the day of the completion of your investiture days. He will inaugurate you for 7 days, as he did on this day, so the Lord had commanded to do to effect atonement for you. You shall stay day and night for 7 days at the entrance of the tent of meeting. You shall observe the Lord's command, so that you will not die, for thus I was commanded. And Aaron and his sons did all the things that the Lord commanded through Moses.